Ladies and gentlemen, here live on The Fight Is Right, we have the one and only Tommy Brooks, the legendary trainer of many champions who Spencer will undoubtedly name to us. But it'd be interesting to hear what the legend himself has to say. I know at the moment he's probably having problems connecting, but we got the link. Tommy's in the building. Tommy Brooks is in the building. And it's us that giving these old men, these old... it's
Thank
us
you guys
that's bringing these legends of the game back into this thing here, because we respect our elders and we know, unlike a lot of the youngsters nowadays, that we can only but learn from the wisdom of the elders. So, ladies and gentlemen, here live on The Fight Is Right, we have the one, the only, Mr. or let me call him Sir Tommy Brooks.
Sir Tommy Brooks. Much too kind. That's
Come
very
on.
kind.
How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir?
Tommy Brooks, did you get a phone call from Anthony Joshua's people? Because I remember Troy gave me the number and I sent it over to one of the AJ's people and said, give Tommy Brooks a call. Your resume is too long to speak about, right? Tommy's worked with all the great guys. Yep. He's worked with all the great fighters. He's worked with Evander Holyfield. He's worked with Mike Tyson. He's worked with David Tua. He's worked with a great Mike McCullum. I asked Tommy Brooks, who technically he's one of the greatest fighters we worked with, said Mike McCullum and Pernell Whitaker. Right? Are you listening to that lineage there? Mike McCullum and Pernell Whitaker is one of the greatest ever to do it, if not one of the greatest southpaws of all time. So obviously, AJ's going up against a southpaw, and here's a man that used to work with a masterful southpaw. Obviously, they could give you some clues, right? Some tips, right?
Yeah, of course.
So did you get a phone call from anyone from AJ's camp, sir?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, let me just say, Anthony Joshua and his team, if you're watching this show, and I know you definitely got people watching this show, Mr. Brooks is here, and I think you should give him a shout. I mean, listen, if you're calling in people like Robert Garcia, and you definitely should be looking at someone like Mr. Brooks.
Stop for a second. No disrespect. Robert Garcia can't chat to Tommy Brooks.
No, sir.
Robert Garcia can't talk to Tommy Brooks. Right? I'm just
Tommy has been involved. Tommy, sorry, that's disrespect. Mr. Brooks, Uncle Brooks has been involved with Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Michael Grant, Larry Donald, Vitaly Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko, Vasily Jirov, Mike McCallum, Johnny Bumpus, Meldrick Taylor, Charles Murray, Freddie Pemberton, Rocky Lockridge, Junior Jones, Sean George, Yuri Foreman, Tony Jeffries, and David Price. So, Tommy, this is a serious resume.
Yeah, I've been really fortunate.
Yes, sir. I mean, listen, on looking at it, what do you actually feel AJ needs at this stage of his career?
To be honest, get back to the basic fundamentals. Just get back to the basics.
Which are?
Using your jab, setting your punches up. Don't be there when you don't need to be there. Don't force anything. Just let it flow. He's a very talented athlete. All he has to do is just let it flow. But you got to have somebody in the corner to remind him of that.
Okay, Tommy, what do you think you could add to Anthony Joshua's repertoire?
Nothing really. Like I said, all he has to do is go back to the basics. You know, he has all the assets already. You know,
Mr. Brooks, Uncle Brooks, Spencer, listen to the answer. He ain't saying. He said, "I don't need to add nothing." You got these trainers telling, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do. But Uncle Brooks is telling you, he don't need to add nothing. This is what Anthony needs. It's the same thing which James Cook, our elder for me, had said when he came, when we brought him into the camp with Anthony Yard. He said, hey, I'm not here to teach him nothing. We just remind them about certain things.
That's all it is with him. He, like I said, he has all the assets already. He knows what to do. He needs to know when to do it, though. You know, somebody has to remind him.
Yes, sir.
Right. Fifi's got a question here. And the question for Mr. Brooks is, how much improvement can a fighter make with a new trainer when the next fight is around the corner within 2 to 3 months? And that is a very good question, Fifi. And thank you for the €4.99.
In my opinion, I think what the trainer and the fighter needs to sit down and go over the videos. You know, video of his opponent and the video of his past couple of fights, and go over the things where he achieved and the things that he didn't do that he should have done.
And I always say that. Studying the opponent's last couple of fights as opposed to going way back in their career, because obviously it's the last couple of fights that's going to show or leave the clues. Is that right, sir?
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
I'm saying, like, what was the difference in working with a Mike Tyson to an Evander Holyfield?
Two different beasts.
Covered.
Two different beasts. You know, Tyson is the type of guy. He's very articulate. You know, he's very smart, and he was taught by one of the greatest trainers ever, Gus Tiamato.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, he knew all the basics, but that's the thing. He started getting away from some of the basics. It's like everybody in the top 10 right now. Once you get to a certain level in the business and you think you high and mighty, you know, there's somebody around the corner waiting to take your spot, you know? So you got to stay on top of the basics. If you get away from the basics and start depending just on power, somebody's going to catch you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to echo that, you know, my fighter, Anthony Yard, you know, he's got the high, you know, probably the second highest. I know Baterviev has knocked out everybody, but he's definitely got the second highest knockout ratio in the light heavyweight division, rated #1 in the world at the moment with the WBO. And we don't work on power. We just work on the fundamentals.
Yeah.
So that's a great point.
People got to remember, if you're throwing the punches correctly, the power is going to be there. You know, if you're showing how to shift your weight, when you shift your weight, your power comes with it. And what a lot of people don't realize, the power comes from the whole. If you're throwing the right hand, it comes from the whole right side of your body, not just your upper body. You know.
Mr. Brooks, Uncle Brooks, Sir Brooks, we need to charge him for this knowledge. I'm just telling you straight.
Come on, man.
You're giving it. We're putting Mr. Brooks on the payroll because this is excellent. But this is what I believe Anthony needs. He doesn't need the circus. He needs the straight talking from a person like yourself. So I'm putting my 2 pence into the hat, and I'm saying that Anthony Joshua or his people give Mr. Brooks a phone call. Carry on,
happy
Spence.
to work with him.
Well, the thing about this,
I've met him before. He's a really nice guy. You know.
Yes.
He seems to be a really nice guy, and he looks very knowledgeable too. So it seems like he picks up on things really quick. You know.
Yes.
But you got to figure in the right information though.
Yes. Yes. Spence.
So, like, if you had any advice to give to Anthony Joshua coming up to his next fight, if you had any advice to give him, what advice with, like, you've been around with some great fighters, you've worked with some great fighters. I mean, truly great fighters, not just great because I was great to watch them, but they were great, all-time greats. What advice would you give to Anthony Joshua?
The biggest thing I would tell him was you got to believe in yourself and work on what you're going to do in the fight in the gym. Because if you don't do it in the gym, you're not going to do it in the fight.
There you go, sir. There you go. You train for the knockout, you get the knockout.
That's right. That's right.
Question from Naz. He says, if Sir Brooks, you see the title that I gave you, Mr. Brooks. If Sir Brooks was AJ's new trainer, would you go straight back into the Usyk fight or take 1 or 2 fights first and then the rematch?
I'd get at least one fight in, you know, and
Thank
then
you very much.
go for it.
Yeah, just are you
Because
saying that based on
you spend some time with him and feed him information that he needs, and then you go into a fight and see if he can do it, you know, or if
yes.
he's willing to do it. I know he can do it because he's a smart kid, you know. So,
Would that decision be based on really the technical ability of Usyk as opposed to him just like we just come from a rematch? When I say we, I mean Anthony Yard, the rematch with Lyndon. But Anthony knew that we were going through so much mentally. He was going through so much mentally. And we knew that we can just jump straight back in there. And as you saw, Anthony wiped him out within 4 rounds. Usyk, in my estimation, from what I can see, is a very technical fighter. And I believe that if AJ is or has chosen to get this new trainer, do you think that definitely he needs the 1 or 2 fights before going in there?
like I said, I think with him, like I said, he's a smart kid. So you know, all he needs is one tune-up.
Yes. I believe so as well, Spence.
I mean, anything. Don't get me wrong. Anything could happen in a fight. But being the athlete that he is, he's a former champion. He knows what it's like to be there, and he should be there. You know. But when you make mistakes, you know, it costs you in the long run. You know, it don't matter how small a mistake is. One mistake could cost you your title.
Mm-hmm.
And if
going back to certain fights, sorry, Lady Shan just put, to big her up, she's just sent in £1.79, Lady Shan. But what opponent could be that bridge before Usyk, though? What kind of opponent would you like to see Anthony Joshua? If he was to not take the rematch straight away, what kind of opponent would you have Anthony Joshua in with before he fought Usyk?
To be honest, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's what you do in the fight. You know, that's the key. It doesn't matter who it is. You know, because everybody's dangerous. Anybody that got 2 arms and a brain is dangerous.
When Anthony Yard against Arthur, people were automatically saying, you know, Anthony used to go to these new young trainers. There were trainers, but I was never gonna even allow that. I only wanted an elder in the camp, and I phoned Spencer and I asked him what did he think about James Cook, a respected guy, former British
and European champion,
an older guy
number 1 contender.
Yes, older guy for us. Do you think nowadays this generation of fighters are too quick to just
disregard
disregard
the elders?
Yeah, disregard. Do you think that the new generation are too quick to disregard the knowledge and the wisdom that the older coaches have?
In my opinion, I think old guys like me, we stick to the basic fundamentals, and you work off the basics. A lot of new guys, they got these different little things that they're working on, you know, and it don't work with everybody, you know. The basic fundamentals always work. I don't care who you fight. It could be George Foreman, it could be Muhammad Ali. Basic fundamentals get you there, but you got to know the basics.
So you just feel that AJ. So you feel that AJ maybe got away from the basics of what he was doing.
In my opinion. Look, when you can punch like he can punch, a lot of guys resort to just thinking about power, you know. But in order to get the power there, you got to set it up, and that's what he's lacking right now. He's not setting it up. He got power in both hands, but you got to set it up. The guy's just not going to stand there and let you hit him, you know.
And like I said, Tundi, at the top of the show, even though it was a lesser opponent, the way Anthony Joshua demonstrated that brute, raw thuggishness when he stopped Michael Sprott and he just whirled away on Michael Sprott, right? And he set up with the true jab, right and left hook. Then he just went to work, right? Now, all of a sudden now, it seems like he's trying to be too technical.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You got to stay to the basics. What you're good at, stay with it. You know.
Yes.
That's what got you to where you are. Stay with it. Don't try to be more than what you are.
So, I mean, me and Spencer was talking offline about, Robert Garcia and the fact that, he's a Mexican. He has a Mexican, obviously, they got a certain style. And Spence was saying that he doesn't feel that Mexican is suited for a black fighter like Anthony Joshua.
Hey, look, if you got the knowledge, you got the knowledge. I don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow, brown. Knowledge is knowledge.
Come on. That's what I said.
Knowledge
and
is
to
knowledge.
be fair, that's what Spencer said. But we were just playing God's advocate, as Spencer likes to say. We were playing God's advocate.
But what I'm saying, Tommy, what I'm saying is they base on every fighter fights to their cultural identity.
Not necessarily. I think every champion has their own.
They got I know, things. But they still have their cultural identity that seeps into their personality as well as their fighting acumen. Now,
look here. Not to cut you off. You got to remember, these guys are human beings. They're human. They got faults just like everybody else. And if they
but do you think
certain pattern? That's what they're going to stick with. But you got to have somebody there that knows them and tells them, look, man, you got to go back to what we've been doing all along, what we've been winning with. Don't change up. You got to stick with what got you where you are.
Interesting. Spence?
Right? But no, this is what I'm saying.
I was taught how to box by one of the greatest knockout artists that ever lived, Archie Moore.
Come on.
And when I started training with him, all he would do was let me jab. I said, I want to throw a right hand. He said, you ain't ready to throw a right hand. But guess what?
Right.
I can knock you down with a jab.
I'll say to anybody, it's glad that you touched on that. Go watch Archie Moore's 1954 fight against Howard Johnson, right?
Yeah.
And Howard Johnson looked like an athlete of today, how muscular he was.
Right.
And he was jabbing and moving. Archie Moore was losing that fight. And Archie Moore just tricked him through an overhand right. I think it was late. I think it was like round 9 or 10. Overhand right, claps him, and then from that wobble, just finished him. Archie Moore was a serious puncher and the highest knockout ratio of any fighter holding a world title.
And even more than that, he believed in himself and what he was doing.
That's what I said.
A lot of guys, they start listening to the press or the guys,
Thank you.
Them, yak, this, that, you should do this, you do that. No, man, stay with what got you to where you are.
Thank you very much. Didn't I say that, Spencer? I told you.
You did.
The people nowadays, or certain people, they're too worried about what others are saying. And
the hell with them. You gotta keep doing what you do, what keeps you winning.
Yes, sir. Oh man, this is just pure gold having you here, Mr. Sir Brooks. So sorry, forgive me if I'm stuttering because it's not every day that we get
a living legend.
It's not every day we get a legend. But anyway, how familiar are you with Ronnie Shields? And do you feel Ronnie Shields could be a good choice for?
Yeah, he is a good guy.
Tommy used to work with him.
Fundamentals, and he's been around for a long time. He was a great fighter himself.
Yes, sir.
Because the talk is that Ronnie Shields and Garcia both recently visited the UK and did some work. And I'm saying that I think it's to who the fighter gels with the most. And I'm hearing through the grapevine that Anthony Joshua thought that he gelled more with Robert Garcia than with Ronnie Schultz. So it looks like Ronnie
See,
Schultz is up in.
Ronnie isn't he's a great guy, but he's not a pushy person, you know. You know, if you follow, you know what and do what you tell him, he tells you to do, you know, you're cool, you know. But if not, you know, he's not going to go crazy and, you know, start throwing stuff and calling you all kind of SOBs and dumbasses and stuff like that. You know, he's not that kind of a person, you know.
Yes. And do you think that's the kind of person AJ needs at this stage?
I don't know him that well, you know, so I really can't
Great
say.
answer.
But
Great
I
answer.
think anybody that's a great trainer, you know, he should have no problem with him.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you're being fed the right information, he's not stupid. Like I said, he's a smart kid. He knows when you're telling him what's right, you know.
Well, I'm telling everybody again. I'm gonna keep saying it. Anthony Joshua, please pick up the phone and give Sir Brooks a call. Give him an opportunity.
I'll be more than happy to show him some stuff.
Well, the thing about it is this: I've sent the number over to his man them, so I thought you'd have got a phone call. You didn't get a phone call. You didn't get a phone call. But the thing about it is this: because Anthony Joshua is this commodity, he just believes like anybody who's like some trainer of the past, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, they must be in it for the money. They must be in it for the money. They must be in it for the money. Number one is this: it's a job. People should get jobs. People should get paid for their job, for their work, right? As scripture says, from the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. That's what it says, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going against that, but I don't think he should be looking at that. I'm saying, unfortunately, like what Tundi said earlier, which he alluded to, is that people that's looking on these new age trainers now, and we're disregarding the old guys. I could speak to and listen to for endless time when you're saying that you work with Archie Moore, because I studied a lot of Archie Moore, a lot of Archie Moore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, Mr. Brooks. I have to just say this comment. Someone says he should hang up 2 chicken foot in the gym and get to work. He thinks he can eat burritos and beat Usyk. He said you're mad. He said you need pounded yam and vibes. Yeah, all right, cool. I just had to throw that in there, Mr. Brooks, because we got some really cultural people that believe that you gotta eat the good food, be around the right vibes to bring the best out of people. But
I'm telling you.
But then I do agree with what you did say, Mr. Brooks, which is knowledge is knowledge.
That's right. And that's it. You know, and you got to be able to feed the fighter the right information at the right time. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm in agreement with what's that? Skylab. That's my guy.
What's his name? Skylab Boxing 2000. Right, you're in agreement with him. Right, cool. Say nothing. More questions for Ronnie. I'm just trying to think. How do you think training has differed over the years compared to when you was really in your element and the training nowadays?
Just like I said before, everybody's getting away from the basic fundamentals. You know, once you learn the basics, you can always add to it. You know, but if you don't know the basics, how you gonna add anything to it?
So I'm
if
saying
you just depending on power, you know, you eventually go get caught. Or you go find somebody that knows how to get around you, you know.
Yeah.
And
So
I was going to say, just explain of the fundamentals. Explain to our listeners
that's what I was going to
that
say.
of the fundamentals.
Yeah.
You can't get away from the basics.
And what are the basics, Mr. Brooks?
You gotta know how to jab, know how to use your weight, know how to make adjustments, use your jab. Know how to throw combinations, know when to do it and when not to do it.
Do you believe that the mental psychology of a fighter is really paramount when going into the boxing ring?
Look, if you don't believe in yourself, you're wasting your time, you know? You got to believe in yourself.
That's facts. That's facts.
I mean, the corner could want it more than you want it, you know. But the corner ain't throwing that one punch. They're not gonna get hit not one time. You the one gonna get hit.
Yeah, and I believe if you
put the work in, so you're the one that has to know what to do and when to do it.
And that's why I've always believed that the trainer's mentality has to be as strong, if not stronger, than the fighter. Because if the fighter feels that he can dominate the trainer and tell the trainer what to do, how is that a benefit to them?
But that's the key. The fighter and the trainer have to be on the same page. That's what I'm saying. If you do it in the gym, you can do it in the fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you don't do it in the gym, you're not gonna do it in the fight. You know?
This goes back to what Spencer was saying, that he felt that AJ had got certain man around him that just cheerleaders and you know, they ain't really giving.
You need somebody in the corner that's gonna feed you the right information. And like I said, you got to work on it in the gym. I mean, just you know, you shouldn't have to. When he comes back to the corner, I shouldn't have to tell him 5 or 6 different things. You know, all I got to do is remind, look, remember when we did this in the gym? You know, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying. I'm glad you're saying this, because people were like, I've heard people saying, "Now, Tundi wasn't saying this to them," but I'm like, hold on. If me as a teacher has taught my student well, I shouldn't need to be telling you do a million things on fight night.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm at the point where I'm at. With most of the guys that I work with, we did the work in the gym. So all I have to do is look, remember when we did, you know, 1 or 2 things, and that's it. If you got a whole laundry list of stuff, they're gonna look at you and say, "Man, what?" You know? Exactly. I don't remember that, you know. But if like I said, if you work on it with them in the gym and just say, "Look, remember how we did this," you know, or throw this. But you've worked on it a number of times in the gym, so it comes back to them automatically.
In your opinion, hold on. Fifi's made another donation.
Come on.
Fifi says, Sir Tommy Brooks, who is the, you know what, me and this guy must be on the same thing. Who is the best, where's the question gone? Who is the best heavyweight today, and which heavyweight of today would you be able to hold his own in the golden era of the heavyweight boxing?
Woo-wee. I'm gonna be honest, and I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but none of these guys out there right now can hang with the old guys. They just don't have it. They just don't have it. Unless somebody gets caught early or something like that, you know. But as far as boxing knowledge, nobody today got the knowledge those guys had.
Do you think that's because too many people outside of boxing have come into this sport? Because that's what I believe. I believe that if I'm a footballer, I want football teachers around me.
Exactly. No, you're right. That's 100% right.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't want
a math teacher. How you gonna teach somebody about science? You know?
Come on. This is what I'm telling you.
If you're a science teacher, how you gonna teach somebody about math? You know?
Come on.
Just don't work.
What they say, too much cooks. What they say, Spence, too much cooks.
Too many cooks in the kitchen spoil the broth. Exactly.
There you go. There you go. So when you come up with all this science, man, geometry, man, algebra, man, just knock out a man. That's my thing. Just knock a man out.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brooks. You're giving us so much wisdom here today. Spence, let's move on to Virgil Hunter.
Yep.
What do you know about Virgil, and do you think he could be also a super? I mean, I'll be honest with you. Outside of Andre Ward, I don't actually recall Virgil working with any big heavyweights or anything like that.
Yes.
I don't know him, so I can't comment.
Yes.
I'm saying because Virgil is very much like Tommy Brooks to the fact that they work on the basics and then they build off of the basics. but the basics is the foundation, and then from the foundation, then they build the house up on the back of it. That's what Virgil does. Virgil now is working with Joshua Boazzi, who's left from the UK. He's light heavyweight. He's left from the UK and he's gone out to work with Virgil in America. But so I know Anthony Joshua spent a little time because Anthony Joshua's management team also managed Joshua Boazzi. So he went out there, he did a little session with him just to kind of check out things and all the rest of it. So, but I don't really think that Virgil's in the run-ins. The two guys that are in the runnings in my mind, and through the things that I've heard, is Ronnie Shields and Robert Garcia. They're the two men that are at the front run-ins of stuff right now.
Okay. There's a comment from Red Rose that said Mayweather, he's the youngest old school fight trainer. And one thing, when people come and watch us train, they're surprised that they don't see no high tech anything. And when I was, as I said, Mr. Brooks, I was in most camps in Floyd's camp. I was there as a UK guy. I just went there, took fighters out there. I took 4 fighters out there. I was there from the Cotto fight all the way. I was up there for the Cotto fight, both Maidana fights. And one thing I always recall and notice about Floyd's training, there wasn't no high-tech business. He would come in, he would box, he would hit the bag, he would jump rope, do his calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, and that was it.
Stay to the basics. Simple. He just stayed at the basics.
And that's the blueprint that we followed. And as I say, we've been successful doing that, and we ain't changing because people can say what they want about me, but I've always stuck to boxing. I don't know, and I'm not being disrespectful to any of these new science teachers. I just know boxing. That's all I study. And it's great to hear you saying that that's what AJ needs to do. Just go back to basics.
That's all he needs to do. Get somebody with him that knows the basics and is going to feed him the right information. That's all he needs. Like I said, he's a smart kid. He knows how to adapt and readapt.
Yes, sir.
He has the power. He has the skills.
Yes.
He just needs somebody to feed him the right information.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks, Sir Brooks, as you're now known in the UK. It has been an absolute pleasure having you, blessing us with your presence
and your knowledge.
To be here, guys.
And just your knowledge. And if you don't mind, we would love to invite you back on our show.
I'd love to. I'll be happy.
Thank you very much, sir.
I'm
great Tommy Brooks.
I'm so honored to have you here today, sir. It is really, from one young trainer to a master, because that's what I'm going to call you. Somebody who's worked with so many fighters. I've watched so many fights. Me and Spencer, I've been at Spencer's house watching the heavyweights, seeing you in the corner, and to have you here today, I've just got so much respect and humbly say thank you. Thank you for coming up, sir.
No, seriously, thank you very much. I'm gonna do this again. I'm saying this now. Anthony Joshua, because I know you're gonna hear about the show. Tommy Brooks is here,
yes.
right? Just holler the guy, even for them to just to impart some information of knowledge, because you know what they say, like a new broom sweeps clean, an old broom knows every corner. And with gray hairs come wisdom, my friend.
Exactly.
So, right. So I'm sending that one out to Anthony Joshua because he's our brother and we wanted to do well. And that's the bottom line. We really do want him to do well.
Yes.
But you know what? I think like when you're getting bombarded with all this information from everywhere, I'm saying I'm not looking for no new young man around me. I'm looking for some old cats.
Yes,
straight.
Sir.
The old guys is gonna get you where you need to be.
All right.
Come on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Take care. God bless you.
Good evening, babe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Sir Tommy Brooks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.